Another example of relative clause. Let us look at this. What is that? It is something, gap, your face. What are the options given for this? Let us look at the relative clauses that are given as options to complete the sentence. What you put on, that you put on, where you put on. So in this case, the answer would be that you put on your face. Where is a relative pronoun for place, not thing. So we cannot use the third option because it is again talking about a place. Where? So face is not a place. So we cannot use the third one, which is where. And we cannot use the first one. So the correct answer would be B. And let us look at the sentence, how it works. It is something that you put on your face. So we are saying something, with something we will be using that, and that is how we will be completing this relative clause, because we cannot use what and we cannot use where in this case, because we are talking about something that is on the face, and therefore we will be choosing the relative clause, which is B. Let us look at another example. Another example where we need to use where, because it is going to talk about the place. The house, gap, was torn down yesterday. Which house? Where was it? So here the relative clause will be used by the one which is telling us about the place. The house where I grew up. So the correct relative clause for this example would be the third one, C, the house where I grew up. We cannot use the first option, because if I have to use the first option, that means I should say the house in which I grew up. Then I have to add in. Also, if I am using the third option, that means I will say the house which I grew up in. So in any case, in both the first and second options, I have to add in. Since in is not here, so the best option for me to use the relative clause would be where I grew up. Because it is a place, so that means I can use where here. And I don't need to change it by using the word in. So the answer here is C. House is a place. Therefore, for house, because it is a place, we can use where, the relative clause that starts with where. A and B can be correct, as I told earlier, if you included in it. The house which I grew up in. So when I want to make a sentence correct, to choose which, then I have to put in or add the word into it. So it will become the house which I grew up in. So that means I have to do some addition, which is normally not allowed, especially when the MCQ or the option has been given to you. Then you have to choose it exactly the way it is. You cannot make changes in the options given to you in order to complete sentences or to answer the questions, if the MCQs are given or the options are given. Of course, if the options are not given or the MCQs are not given, then you can use your own words. But in cases where the options are given and you have to choose or select one of them, you cannot add any word to it, because then the meaning would change if you will be adding the word to it. Therefore, which in can also refer to a place, but in that case, in order to refer to the place, you will be adding in, which is not allowed to be added when the options are already given. If in this case the options were not given, then you could have said the house which I grew up in, and that would be considered correct. So the relative clauses can be used otherwise if there is the correct grammar structure in the sentence, but if the option is already given, you cannot make the change.